Good afternoon and welcome to NTV News. I'm Siksha Sharma. We take a look into the headlines first. Thousands of earthquake survivors in await of relief. Government starts distributing relief materials from one-door policy today. 146 among 256 injured return home after treatment. Government to provide 200,000 each to the family of those killed in Jajarkot quake. Prime Minister calls for effective rescue and relief operations. US pushes for pause in fighting between Israel and Hamas. Israel sets precondition of hostage. Welcome back to NTV News. Taking a look into news in detail now. The government has started distributing relief materials to the quake survivors of Rukum West and Jajarkot through a one-door system. From today, the government has focused on the safe rescue and treatment of the earthquake victims and has directed the provincial government to proactively participate in relief distribution and rehabilitation of the survivors. The federal government as well as provincial governments have come together to help secure the victims with proper relief and rehabilitation. Meanwhile, in the quake-hit areas, security agencies along with the locals continue to search for inside the rubble of flattened house and infrastructures in Jajarkot and Rukum. Also, the victims are seen still searching for their belongings from the rubble. Most houses have been damaged and livestock are found either dead or under the rubble awaiting rescue. The panic-stricken victims in Jajarkot and Rukum West are forced outside of their homes due to continuous aftershocks that is threatening the region. Locals are struggling to arrange for food and clothes. Much of the day passes by waiting for relief materials that has just started to reach the district, the hard-hit areas of Rukum and Jajarkot. However, the survivors complain having to be forced to live in their fields and the situation is dire there. It looks crucial to provide immediate relief materials and tarpaulins, foods and clothes to the quake survivors. Families are having to sleep under the open sky with the winter chill severing. The uncertainty is costing them comfort and health. Meanwhile, the government has decided to provide free medical treatment in all hospitals for those injured in the Friday night's earthquake in Jajarkot and Rukum. The meeting of the cabinet also decided to make an integrated action plan and build earthquake-resistant housing within 1 year for the rehabilitation of those affected by the Jajarkot quake, while enabling the search, rescue and relief distribution. The government will provide 200,000 rupees to each families of the people killed in the quake, and the government hospitals will provide free treatment to the injured. Earlier, the Prime Minister also issued directives for making the relief and rehabilitation of the quake victims effective. Let's take a look into a short break here. More news follows up next. To stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. We take a look into more updates. Dead bodies of all 157 earthquake victims have been handed over to the related families. Home Ministry spokesperson Narayan Prasad Bhattarai said that all government bodies had been involved in the search, rescue and relief operation following the Jajarkot earthquake. The injured ones also began returning home after treatment. Among the dead ones, 99 are women and 58 men. In Jajarkot, 72 were women and 33 men losing lives to the quake, while in Rukum West, recorded death of 27 women and 25 men. Similarly, among 256 injured persons in the tremor, 146 returned home after treatment, while the remaining are undergoing treatment. The Nepal Police Headquarters informed that a total of 910 houses were destroyed, while 2,861 houses received partial damages. An entire settlement in Jajarkot's Churi village of Nalgarh Municipality 1 has been destroyed by the quake. The Choche toll that had 186 households had been flattened in the quake, with not a single house habitable, leaving 700 people without shelter. The village, which is 1.5 hours walk from Khalanga, the district headquarters. The Churi village lost 14 of its people in Friday night's quake, among which 5 are children and 2 elderly. The Karnali provincial government has said it will leave no stone unturned for the relief and rehabilitation of the victims of this village. And let's take a look into a short break here. More news follows up next. To stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News. We take a look into more developments. Israel has rejected growing calls for a ceasefire in Gaza, with military specialists saying that forces are set to intensify their operations against militant group Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu demanded an all of the most than 240 hostages captured by Hamas during its October 7 attacks are returned. Israel's military has used a combination of ground troops together with air and navy power to pound Gaza and deepen its incursions into the narrow coastal strip, aiming to destroy Hamas infrastructure and kill senior leaders, as well as its command and control systems. The forces have penetrated deep into Gaza, surrounding Gaza City, and engaging in close urban combat with Hamas fighters, which would make breaking off contact to allow a temporary cessation of hostilities risky and uncertain, says the Israeli military source. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, starting the first visit to China by a leader of his country in 7 years, said in all the interest of Australia it was to have a bilateral relationship with and dialogue and cooperation. Australia will continue to work constructively with China, he said in a short speech to the annual China International Import Expo in Shanghai, which was opened by Premier Li Qiang. Albanese is the first Australian leader to visit China since 2016, part of an effort to patch up relations that had deteriorated over several years due to dispute over Chinese telecoms from Huawei, espionage and COVID-19. Albanese on Monday will meet President Xi Jinping in Beijing, where the Prime Minister has said he will raise concerns over rising tensions in the South China Sea. A quick look into the highlights of what's coming up next. Primary schools in India's capital city will remain closed until Friday due to high pollution levels. Delhi Education Minister Atishi Marlena said in a post on social media platform X, that is formerly known as Twitter. New Delhi stands on top of a real-time list of the world's most polluted cities compiled by Swiss group IQ Air. The city's air quality index on Sunday was 471, putting it in the hazardous category. It was followed by Lahore in Pakistan at a very unhealthy of 261. The toxic air on Saturday had forced Sri Lanka to cancel their training session. The team was participating for a World Cup clash for today against Bangladesh in the heavy polluted Indian capital. An AQI of 0 to 50 is considered good, while the levels of 400 to 500 impacts healthy people and is dangerous to those with existing diseases. In the end, a quick reminder of the top stories. Thousands of quake survivors in wait of relief as they dig through the rubble for the belongings. 146 among 256 return home. Government to provide 200,000 each to the family of those killed in Jazakot quake. Prime Minister calls for effective rescue and relief operations. U.S. pushes for pause in fighting between Israel and Hamas. Israel sets precondition of hostage release before pausing the offensive. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead and namaste.